Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. If you've ever found yourself totally baffled by the modern dating world, well, you are in the right place. Today, we're going to decode the fascinating, completely science-backed psychology behind a very specific type of person. We're talking about the man who remains entirely unbothered, the guy who literally refuses to chase. And we'll look at why that exact behavior actually draws people in like an absolute magnet. We're moving way past cheesy pickup lines and mind games today, and we're diving into the raw biology of quiet independence. So, I want you to picture something for a second. Think about the modern dating scene. It is just frantic, isn't it? It's filled with anxiety, endless swiping, overanalyzing every single read receipt, or staring at those three little typing bubbles of doom. It seems like everyone is just utterly exhausting themselves trying to get noticed. But then, right in the middle of all that chaos, there's that one guy. He's sitting calmly in a coffee shop, reading a book, completely unbothered. Have you ever noticed him? He's definitely not the loudest person in the room, yet somehow, people just cannot stop thinking about him. Now, it's super easy to look at that guy and just assume, oh, he's naturally lucky, or maybe you think he's secretly cold, detached, and just playing hard to get. But psychology tells us a totally different story. It tears that myth right down. You see, when someone is out there constantly chasing, they are operating from a place of lack. They're running on this frantic need for validation. But the man who never chases, he's operating from a state of completeness and emotional independence. It is the profound difference between a chaotic, draining energy and a grounded, truly magnetic energy. To figure out how this actually works, we're going to break down 4 key pillars: emotional gravity, the subconscious signal, dopamine reversal, and finally, purpose over people. Let's get right into it. Starting with pillar number 1, emotional gravity. Have you ever noticed how quickly we absorb the energy of a room? Most people are constantly reacting to their environment. If the room is anxious, they get anxious. If someone ignores them, they instantly try way harder to win them over. But emotional gravity is this incredible phenomenon where a calm, stable energy acts like a psychological anchor. Instead of matching the room's chaos, these men possess a vibe that is completely stabilizing. By simply remaining still and unbothered, they literally shift the entire social dynamic of the room. But why does our brain react so strongly to this? Actually, it's not magic at all. It is pure biology. The answer lies in our mirror neurons. These are specialized brain cells designed to, quite literally, copy and sync up with the emotions of the people we're close to. It's the exact same reason a stressed-out boss can make a whole office tense up in 3 seconds flat. But when someone stays perfectly centered and composed amidst the chaos, your nervous system subconsciously registers them as a safe zone. Thanks to those mirror neurons, you actually start to feel grounded around them. Without even realizing why it's happening, you naturally begin orbiting their energy. All right, let's move on to pillar number 2, the subconscious signal. Whether we realize it or not, every single day, the way we carry ourselves broadcasts a silent but incredibly loud message directly into the brains of the people around us. Think about the subconscious signal of chasing. When you chase, you are sending a blaring message that says, I operate from lack. I need you to validate my existence. But a completely different, much quieter message is projected by someone who refuses to chase. I am complete. Every aspect of his behavior, from a relaxed posture to a steady, unhurried tone of voice, just oozes emotional independence. Psychologists actually have a specific name for this mindset. It's called an internal locus of evaluation. Basically, this means you judge your own self-worth strictly by your own internal standards, not by the applause of a crowd or how many likes you get or the validation of a partner. A man with this locus doesn't need to constantly announce his life or brag about his achievements just to feel good about himself. And let's be honest, in today's world, a world so heavily addicted to instant gratification and oversharing, that kind of self-containment is incredibly rare. And because it's so rare, it is highly attractive. Which brings us to pillar number 3, dopamine reversal. Okay, get ready, because we're about to look at a wild behavioral science reality regarding brain chemistry that totally flips conventional wisdom on its head. We usually assume our brains give us the biggest chemical rush when we finally get exactly what we want, right? Well, behavioral science shows us something totally different. The dopamine reward loop works in stages. Step 1, anticipation and waiting. Step 2, the what-if wondering. Step 3, little hits of validation. Your brain actually gets the absolute biggest dopamine spike during the mystery and the anticipation, not when the reward is finally handed over. This whole process describes something called intermittent reinforcement. It's a psychological reward loop driven entirely by unpredictability. And it is the exact same chemical loop that keeps people glued to slot machines or doing the endless pull to refresh on social media. When someone has an unpredictable, calm presence and doesn't immediately flood you with attention, they force your brain to wonder. You start seeking those little hits of validation from them. And suddenly, you aren't really chasing the person anymore. You are subconsciously chasing the feeling and the dopamine spike that their quiet confidence provides.
And finally, we arrive at our fourth pillar, purpose over people. This is where we shift the focus completely away from superficial dating tactics and we look at genuine, grounded life direction. Because here's the crucial point. These men don't avoid chasing because they dislike human connection. Not at all. They do it because they possess a remarkably high degree of self-efficacy. That's the deep psychological belief that your own actions shape your world. Because they truly believe in their ability to forge their own path, they are fiercely protective of it. They guard against any distractions that might pull them off their true course.
Think about it like cognitive bandwidth. We as human beings only have so much mental energy to spend every single day. For these guys, a massive 80% of that energy is dedicated to building their future, mastering a skill, growing a business, doing deep personal work. That leaves only a tiny 20% for social validation. When your brain is legitimately that busy chasing a meaningful mission, you naturally project real leadership and strength. You quite literally do not have the cognitive bandwidth left over to be needy. That quiet focus, that is the ultimate foundation of real confidence. So, what is the ultimate takeaway from our time together today? Simply this: attracting people naturally is absolutely not about playing hard to get. It is about being hard to forget, because you are genuinely content with who you are. The less you chase the world's validation, the more the world instinctively wants yours. So I want to leave you with a question to chew on today, a little provocation to challenge how you apply this in your own life. Look inward and ask yourself right now, are you currently exhausting yourself chasing validation? Or are you quietly, confidently building your purpose? Remember, true power always comes from self-awareness. Once you shift your energy away from lack and toward your own completeness, the entire dynamic changes. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep decoding the mind, and I will see you next time.